honorable directors present here, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to join you on the official launch of Dinner of the World Ghana. I would like to express my profound gratitude to the organizers for honoring me with this invitation and the opportunity afforded me to share a few thoughts with you. I wish to extend my sincere gratitude and deep appreciation to all partners and stakeholders who are here to lend support to make this event a success, as well as pledge their support to champion the worthy cause for an improved health and sanitation system in Accra and Ghana as a whole. It is an undeniable fact that the issue of sanitation is a persistent challenge facing the development of the region and the country as a whole. As you may already be aware, access to basic sanitation is a human right. Records indicate that only 14% of Ghanaians have access to these basic rights. Ladies and gentlemen, I am well informed that Clean Up the World is a global environment program which engages an estimated number of about 35 million volunteers to inspire and empower communities to clean up, fix up, and conserve the environment. In this regard, permit me to use this opportunity to applaud Praxis Africa and its partners for coming up with this initiative. I believe this is in pursuant to the President's vision in making Accra the cleanest city in Africa by the year 2020 and ultimately attaining the objective of Sustainable Development Goal 6. Ladies and gentlemen, the description of Ghana as the 7th dirtiest country in the world is without doubt not the best. Statistics indicate that only 15% of Ghanaians have access to safe and improved basic sanitation in the country. It is an undeniable fact that poor sanitation practices such as open defecation and the wanton disposal of waste have negative impact on the living standard of the people and the economy at large. It reduces productivity, increases the budget for health sector, and affects tourism promotion, which in effect goes a long way to reduce revenue mobilization for the country. I believe it is in this light that government, through the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, launched the National Guideline Policy Document on Sanitation, which is aimed at targeting the poor and vulnerable for accessing basic sanitation services in the country. Let us not lose sight of the fact that the rainy season is here and Accra is still grappling with floods. You will therefore agree with me that this calls for more proactive measures to be put in place to minimize the incidence of flooding with the rainy season. Indeed, we need to take the bull by the horn by enforcing building regulations and preventing any construction works along the buffer zones of our waterways. We should also ensure that we visit our gutters, clean up the drains, and remove all obstacles on our waterways to avoid the perennial flood that we experience in the region. It is my fervent hope that Praxis Africa will work to accomplish its aim and objective. Once again, I wish to welcome and thank you all for making time to be part of this important exercise. Thank you for your kind attention. May God bless you.
Greater Accra Minister, Honorable MPCs, Coordinating Directors, Environmental Officers, Physicians and Surgeons, media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols. Clean Up the World is a 3-month sanitation campaign under the auspices of the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area, the United Nations Environmental Program. Clean Up the World is an international program established in Australia in 1994 by Ian Kinner and Kim Mackey to encourage communities worldwide to make their hands dirty as a quota to support environmental conservation. Activities for the Clean Up the World 2018 in Ghana will focus on various areas such as education on sanitation law enforcement, waste management and recycling education, tree planting and improved household toilet facilities construction in the Greater Accra. The campaign will clamor for more education and awareness to intensify support in terms of good sanitation and hygiene options to allow the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo to attain this vision to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa, as well as promoting the sustainability and availability of water and sanitation for all by 2020. That is the Sustainable Development Goal 6. Clean Up the World is a global environmental program held in September annually in partnership with the United Nations Environmental Program to inspire and empower communities to clean up, fix up, and conserve their environment. Clean Up the World engages an estimated 35 million volunteers in 130 counties every year, making it one of the largest community-based environmental campaigns in the world. This year, Praxis Africa, an organization that capitalizes on development by mobilizing workable technologies and solutions related to sanitation in partnership with the National Development Planning Commission, the Cora Ventures, Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic, the College of Physicians and Surgeons, that is the Cohort 12 team, Accra FM, DBP, Ecological Landscape Alliance, Department of Parks and Gardens, Environmental Service Providers Association, MMDAC, the Greater Accra region, community groups, churches, business and development partners will join as members to carry out community-based activities that address sanitation and waste and water-related issues in the Greater Accra region. The activity lineups will include a massive cleanup exercise at the Osukote Metro, and then the Odona. And we are also pleading with all MMDAs to help us identify where there are problems, that is needs assessment, so that we can also know where we have to come and help solve these problems. We are also, as part of this program, going to organize what we call Annual Regional Local Economic Development and Business Innovation Conference. Now, normally when it comes to a battle on programs like this, one will ask, where are we going to get the funding from? That is where we are going to use the biblical narrative. That's Matthew 10:10, and it says, do not carry any gold, silver or copper, or second tunic, or sandals or staff, for the worker is worth his provisions. Wherever village or town you enter, find out one who is worth and stay at his house to solve the problem of sanitation, to make sure the vision of our leader of the nation, that's our Excellency, the President, vision comes to pass. Thank
you. Achieving access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all, and an end open defecation. When I read this, the first thoughts that came to me were, if I really had the solution for this problem. Probably I'll resign my job and then go into private business and become a millionaire overnight. Because it's a problem not only facing Ghana, but that the rest of Africa and the many developing countries have challenges with sanitation. Okay, so there are three issues I want to talk about briefly. Issues about access, issues about adequacy, and then talk about the issues of equitable access to sanitation and hygiene services. So the access to basic services, well, including sanitation, has a number of dimensions. So you need a facility in place. The facility should be functional. You should have access to that service when you need it. If one gets access to the service for, say, 3 days, and then the rest of the week you don't have access to that same service, customers lose confidence in the service that is being delivered, and then will turn away from that service altogether. So issues in the discourse on access to sanitation services, we also want to address the issues of reliability of the service. And in solid waste management, one of the issues that we experience had to do with skips being full and not being empty. So the little girl goes to the dump where we have the central skips to dump the waste, and the thing is full, it has not been lifted. So what is the difference in pouring it on the ground by the skip and then putting it somewhere in the bush? So that brings into the equation the reliability of the service. If the service is not reliable, users lose confidence and no longer patronize the service. I'll touch on the important issue of equitable access to service. We do acknowledge that different people have different needs, and we cannot have one solution fit all, so that everybody is forced to use what is believed to be the right thing for everyone. We need to take into consideration the peculiar needs and circumstances of people, and then design services that speaks to the needs and even aspirations of the people we are serving. The concerns or the needs of persons with disability, their needs need to be factored in. Those with mobility issues, those with, usually in Ghana, I think when we talk of persons with disability, the first category we consider are the people with mobility issues. And then there are equally the blind, there are equally the deaf people. And these people also have different needs that need to be addressed in the design of services. And especially so in public services, where in institutions, where facilities must necessarily, in fact it is by law, that in all facilities, in public facilities must be disability friendly, so that persons with disability can have access. And it's not just access to the building, but then access to all the facilities in the building. So if the building has a toilet facility, that facility should be easily accessible to the person with disability. These are some of the minor things that have not been adequately addressed in our quest to improve access to sanitation and hygiene services. But then the good thing is the SDG says that the implementation should take into consideration national capabilities, national circumstances, national aspirations, etc., etc. So as a country, we need to decide for ourselves what we want and what we can realistically achieve. Can we aspire to that great height of having every household connected to, say, a WC with a proper sewage system to collect the waste material, effluent to a treatment plant for treatment and disposal? Or we want to do a phased and a gradual progression from where we are to where we want to be in the future. So I'll end here by saying that in terms of sanitation and hygiene, Ghana has a long way to go. We have a long way to go. The challenges and the problems, I think, have been very well documented. The way forward is to look out for solutions, and then be bold in implementing these solutions. And these solutions will not only be hard or engineering or technology solutions, but then there are the soft issues that we equally need to address. That Accra will indeed become the cleanest city in Africa. Thank you very much for your time.
This is one of the communities in Accra. And the interesting thing about this picture is that we have adapted to the field. You can see the child going to school. This community, despite the field and the muddy waters, have learned to build bridges across the field. So then we have adapted, and the child has such a big smile. He's so proud of his community. And this is very sad for us because the next generation doesn't feel uncomfortable in the filthy situation that we live in. This is also another picture that we captured. The current situation, the previous speaker just talked about behavior change. And this picture is not projecting very well. But that's an elderly man, probably who does a white-collar job, works probably in one of our offices, is going to work and is urinating right in front of a sign which says, "Do not urinate here," by KRA, fine of 50 Ghana cedis, and he's urinating right in front of that sign. This tells us how complex our human behavior and attitudes are, and it shows the depth of the problem with sanitation that we have. We already heard this morning, that according to the World Bank, Ghana is the 7th dirtiest country globally, the 2nd dirtiest country in Africa. We generate daily about 20,000 tons of waste, which is about 5,000 trucks of the Zoom Lion car. So every day, the waste we generate across the country is about 5,000, and I don't even think Zoom Lion has 5,000 trucks to carry our waste. And a large amount of this ends up in our gutters, in open drains, and we just saw what is happening at our beaches. The sanitation situation, once again, the next generation. Children are growing up watching their parents doing open defecation. So as my brother said, the children, this is what they have learned, and this is what they are doing. 1/5 of Ghanaians have no access to the problem of toilets. And the interesting thing about this is that if we deal with the open defecation, we're able to reduce diarrhea by about 34%. If hand hygiene situations improve, simple hand washing, we reduce diarrhea by 54%. So then there's a lot we can do in dealing with health challenges as we improve sanitation. We are going to use cholera as a proxy for the many diseases that sanitation causes. I'm sure we know that there's yellow fever, there's typhoid, but everybody is afraid of cholera. Why? Because of its burden to the health system and the number of people who die from cholera. This is a picture of how the health system gets overwhelmed when people have cholera. And I'm sure we all remember what happened in 2014 when about 30,000 Ghanaians died from cholera. Basically, if you get cholera, you have eaten someone's feces. Basically, that is what you have done if you get cholera. With the onset of the rainy season, it just shows how these diseases will be rising. This is just Accra 3 weeks ago when the whole city was flooded. And sadly, we even lost one of our colleagues, a doctor, amongst about 10 people who died in Greater Accra. This is the annual trend of cholera cases in Ghana. And as each peak represents an epidemic of cholera since 1980. And as you can see, between the peaks, there was a longer intervening time for the various epidemics. So from 82, It took about 6 years for the next cholera epidemic to happen. As you can see, the peaks get closer as we go. So then we are getting frequent epidemics of cholera, which is taking now a frequency of about 3 years to 4 years. And the last epidemic was in 2014. So now we're in 2018 and we pray that it doesn't come back again. What are the benefits of improved sanitation? Improving our sanitation will improve health outcomes, and that would mean that we will live for long. Ghanaians have a total life expectancy of about 61 years. That means if you are alive and nothing happens to you, you would expect that you live up to 61 years. But if we reduce these problems with sanitation, we'll get to live longer and enjoy the benefits of the work that we are doing. For every $1 spent on improving sanitation, we reduce the cost of health care costs by $5. And therefore, we'll end up saving and having more money to put back into the economy. Then we also reduce the incidence of diseases represented by the ascaris worm there. So then we are going to reduce the incidence of cholera, the incidence of malaria, the incidence of typhoid and yellow fever and all the other diseases that come with poor sanitation. And then the renewable energy aspect. We are going to reuse our waste to generate power, biogas, that will also reduce the cost at the household level. And this is being done in some communities, for instance in Ashaman, where they are using renewable waste to cook in the homes. We'll continue to engage our honorable DCs and MCs, and we are happy that you are here, because we are hoping that if this approach works, we'll be able to scale up in other municipalities to be able to show a bigger picture to the entire nation. So then we'll ask ourselves, in summary, can we make Accra the cleanest city in Africa? I believe we can. If we have appropriate law enforcement and if we're able to engender behavior change in Ghana. And it starts with us. It starts with us here as being change agents and being able to replicate that knowledge to the others within the community. Let's keep Accra clean. Let's change our attitude. Yes, Sister Yesuba, Nagana Beye. Thank you very much.
The speakers preceding me have talked about most of the problems and solutions that are needed. The Prayer Ventures as an innovative company, we have been at the forefront of trying to create value out of waste, and then also developing what we term the circular economy. So most of my presentation will be based on that. What we are involved in is solid waste collection, recycling, green products production, public toilet management, and then we do public education and sensitization also. The policy framework or the regulatory framework have been taken care of already by my sister doctor. So I'll skip all this. Let's go to the next. This gives an indication of the area we operate in Osuklote. I'll do most of the presentation in Osuklote because that's the largest area that we are in. Otherwise, we are also in Adenta Municipal Assembly in Osuklote. The specifications given us by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we are supposed to be cutting about 8,000 tons of solid waste per day, and then we are supposed to be servicing about 24,000 households within about 10,000 houses. In the third class areas, you have a number of households all clustered into one house. This is the map showing the Adenta area as well. And these are the statistics of reading out. I'm focusing on Osuklote. This is the map of Osuklote. It's a 12 square kilometer area. And what we are doing with the AMA is a public-private partnership. And the main partners are AMA, who are mandated by law to manage the waste. We are a business entity. The third key stakeholders are the generators, including me myself. Everybody present here is a key stakeholder because we generate the waste. And the obligation, AMA has certain obligations they set up the standards, the performance standards. They are also supposed to, like my sister said, come up with the bylaws and even promulgate laws which are efficient and not making it possible to get the optimum out of what is currently existing. Then they also have to do some public education with the support of the private sector. They are supposed to give us landfills 24/7 accessibility, because waste is generated every day. Even when we are sleeping, we are generating some form of waste. It's true. Carbon dioxide coming out of the trees using and then producing oxygen for waste. There's gaseous waste, there's liquid waste, there's solid waste, even there's plasma waste. Maybe the light that comes from the sun is waste that is produced in the sun, and to us it creates life for us. As we go along, we'll explain some of these things, that waste is really not waste. It's out of ignorance. We not knowing the characteristics. We've been ignorant of the technologies we applied. That is why we tell you it's waste. And if we don't take that, we can engulf in it. But there's a lot of money to make out of waste. As the Coral Ventures, part of our obligations is to provide the investment, we do the registration, we deliver the service, and then we collect money. So the system we are operating with, the AMA, is called the Fee and Performance-Based Solid Waste Collection. We do the organics and then plastics and cardboard. With the plastics, this slide shows what we call the first stage. This bottle that I'm drinking from, the hard core is different when it comes to recycling. So when the clients have separated all the plastic bottles and the sachets we collect, we send them to a holding point. We have workers there who separate the box from the thin film and then the PET. And those are then put into sacks for delivery to off-takers.